All right, Tim, first of all, thank you again for agreeing to be interviewed by me to help other leaders gain clarity on how becoming a certified professional coach can help them in a lot of different ways. I mean, I know you and others have talked about some of the skills that you've learned, how it's helped you thrive and just grow professionally and personally. So that's really the goal of our time together. Let us know briefly what you do for work and who are the people that you serve.
Okay. I'm a pastor and I've been in central Kansas for almost 30 years with the same church.
Hmm.
And before that, I was a youth pastor and then I planted two churches. But in my present spot, I've been here all these years. I've worked with some great folks, and we're a small town of 40,000. And and so we have some rural people that, farmers and whatnot, part of our congregation, and we have some professionals that are part of our congregation as well. And it's been a great ministry, and I've enjoyed being a pastor. I realized that I'm kind of on the last lap of being the lead pastor, and so I was kind of looking for some next steps and next opportunities.
Okay. That's amazing. 30 years, you and your good friend Russell and other pastors. I mean, that's rare nowadays to hear a pastor in the church for so long. So first of all, congratulations
Thank you.
on getting to the point where you can say, "Hey, I'm on the last lap."
Mhm.
Well, one of the things I wanted to ask you, Tim, is as you think about your leadership or leadership growth, either one is fine. What problem or challenge did you have before you discovered the certified coach program?
Well, dealing with people nowadays is maybe a little different than it used to be. And I know that I wear the pastor hat from time to time, an advisor hat, tell people what to do. But really, the true power is self realization. When someone understands before God what they should do themselves,
Yeah.
and just to dictate to someone and give them advice, excuse me, just to dictate to somebody,
Yeah.
give them advice, probably is not the absolute best way for life change. But when there's a moment of self realization, maybe self discovery, then there's really power in that. And so I was kind of longing for a tool to help people come to that self discovery. And so the power of coaching has really helped me on that, to lead people and guide people instead of just telling them what to do. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, no, perfect sense. And what would you say, Tim, were some of maybe the frustrations that you had before you figured out that coaching could be a good fit?
Well, I was just constantly frustrated that I've been a pastor for so long. People come to me with an issue, and it kind of quickly, I would, in my heart and mind, knew, hey, these are three things that you ought to do.
Mhm.
But the reason that they're in a spot that they're in is um,
Yeah.
they didn't really need somebody to tell them what to do. They needed to be convinced within themselves and brought to a place of self decision and self determination.
Yeah.
And so I was constantly frustrated that I wasn't getting people there on their own. And because when I was just telling people what to do, we weren't seeing the best life change. Um, and so it needed to come from the inside out. And and so that was my frustration
Okay.
of telling people what to do, and then they weren't listening. And uh, but if they come to their own conclusions, then when you talk, the follow up conversation is you're not listening to yourself. You know what you should do, and you're not following through.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different dynamic, and it's more powerful.
Yeah, that's good because it speaks of ownership, which is a coaching principle. They have to
Mhm.
own the responsibility to take action. And I agree. If you're telling them what to do, then after a while, they're going to do something else or not do it at all. But when they realize, hey, I need to do this for myself, and I'm the only one who's stopping myself from moving forward. That's pretty powerful. What would you say, Tim, just kind of along that same line? When was the moment where you realized when, hey, this coaching is going to help me move people forward in the direction that I've been seeking?
Okay. That's a two-part answer. I had gotten acquainted with you and your principles in in a presentation that you made at Louisiana Baptist University.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, then there was an kind of an intro, and I think it was like a 30-minute intro video that I was a part of with you. And at that moment, I thought, okay, this is something I think is really going to help me.
Mm-hmm.
But when we were involved in the initial 2 day intensive, where we started off, and Marcel, that was a couple of tough days. I mean,
Yeah.
grueling, but really impacting me.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at the conclusion of the second day saying, "This is really what I was kind of looking for," and I had an energy. My wife would bear witness to that. I had an energy about coaching that I thought this was the missing link for me
Yeah.
in the way I was dealing with some people. It's one thing, some people you have an opportunity, you just kind of guide them and tell them what to do. But other folks, you have to come alongside and walk with them.
Yeah.
And when I realized that during the intensive, that I got really energized
Yeah.
for this, and it exceeded my expectations, frankly. So that was the moment.
Yeah. And that's encouraging because, as you know, as pastors, we our heart is to encourage people, lead people with love, following God's word, and then when they can not only hear from us as pastors and we're instructing them in God's word, but then the other side is we're believing in them that they can apply the principles they're learning, that they can, in the capacity of the Holy Spirit, what He gives them, they can figure this out. It really is encouraging because you see their potential just kind of unleash, and yeah, it is electrifying, and it is something that I think it wants you want to do more because you realize, wow, look how this person has changed. Look the things that they're doing now. They weren't doing that before, and it's really exciting. Tell us briefly, what does life look like today personally on the other side now that you've become a certified coach?
Okay. Well, I realized that people don't need a drill sergeant in their life. That just doesn't work. So I've already put into practice some of the coaching principles
Mm-hmm.
as I was going through the program, and some I guess we would call it counseling sessions. I really had turned it into coaching sessions,
Yeah.
and the feedback that I got was just really, something very positive feedback from the people that I then talked to.
Mm-hmm.
So I look back at this now as a great experience, and I believe that the Lord has opened a couple of doors for me for my future. And in the days of when it becomes apparent that our church needs, this is hard to say, Marcel, younger leadership than what I can provide, younger energy
Yeah.
than what I can provide, younger
Sure.
vision,
Sure.
and I feel like I've still got I got a bit of all those things,
Mm-hmm.
but there'll be a moment where we realize, okay, our church will be best served, and
Yeah.
I will be best served if
Mm-hmm.
I allow a younger leader to take the reins.
Yeah.
And but now I have a whole new um, um, aspect of ministry awaiting me,
Mm-hmm.
and it can, as a coach,
Yeah.
a life coach, to be certified in this manner gives me an opportunity to even um, break into other areas of society that I
Yeah.
really don't have a platform right now.
Yeah.
And when people hey, you ought to talk to my pastor, that brings some connotations. But if they would say, you ought to talk to my life coach, then
Sure.
I think that's going to open up a lot more doors.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for the prospects of that.
Yeah. And I love that the idea of new opportunities and I find that many men at this age in life, or as you say, the last lap, they're not looking to get out of ministry. They're wanting to sharpen their saw, so to speak, and say, okay, what else can I do now for the kingdom and still have an impact on the younger men, still have an impact on missionaries and pastors and leaders. And I love it. And that's really the purpose behind coaching. You're just empowering people. So you're continually equipping people and encouraging them to move forward. What would you say, Tim, for you personally, was inspiring about our program?
Mm. Well, with a smile on my face, I'm going to tell you it was very nice for me to be a part of something that I wasn't leading, because that's gone on for a long time. It seemed like everything I was involved in, I was leading,
Yeah.
and so to be a part of something where I was catching, I was being fed,
Mhm.
was really a great thing. And then Marcel, I would say, um, right along the way, as the light bulbs began to turn on, I could see where we were headed, and I could see where I could be a part of this.
Yeah.
I don't know if I had a aha moment, just one. I think I had a series of moments, and
Okay.
where I realized, okay, this is how this is going to work, and this is
Mhm.
how this will be my place in this as well. And I did a little reading about the tsunami wave of coaching that's
Mhm.
taken place in our country, the
It's huge.
business community, education community, and as well as in the church community. And I just thought, man, this is something that I really want to be a part of.
Yeah.
And as you said, I think this will expand my ministry opportunities, for the rest of my life.
That's great. That's great. Let's go back a little bit to before you started the program. What would you say? Now, you already mentioned about some of the frustrations that you were experiencing, but what really grabbed your attention as far as you you heard about the program, you saw the presentation. What was it that you would say this absolutely grabbed my attention, and that was the reason why I decided to become a certified coach?
Um, I would say early on, when I saw that this could be used um, instead of trying to counsel people.
Mhm.
Uh, I I have a couple of counselor friends in our ministry, um, therapists, and they tell me I have good instincts. But the point of the matter is I don't get energized by counseling people. I do get energized by coaching people, and coaching people up to a new level, not trying to figure out what went wrong in the past.
Mhm.
So with that said, when I saw um, that this is the program, as it were, the coaching model of taking people to a next level,
Yeah,
I got really excited about that.
yeah,
And we all probably carry some things that hold us back, and we
sure.
just excuse
Yeah.
ourselves. And the more it, but when someone, and I don't want to say the word force, but when
Right.
someone points it out and we admit that issue that's holding us back,
Hmm.
and then with some guidance, begin to incrementally push that barrier away and move them to a higher level, I got really excited about that. And so that was the moment when I realized, okay, I'm helping take people to a new level,
Yeah,
and I can be an integral part of that. Is really got me fired up.
yeah.
I don't know if I answered your question, but
No,
that
no,
was my story.
no, you did. And it's funny because as I glance behind your shoulders at the back wall, you have some of the greats in baseball, and and people would be amazed to learn that a lot of these greats, they had coaches, not only their general manager and the team coach, but they had private coaches and team coaches within the leadership, and they were constantly being coached. And these athletes are at the top of their game, but they're getting coaching all the time.
Mhm.
And to your point, to help them move ahead and move forward. And you see this now in the church and in business, and you see it in parenting, in churches, all over the place. So it's really exciting to see because it's another way to equip people to disciple people that maybe we haven't thought of before.
Mhm.
So going back again to before you started, I always like to ask this question. Did you have any hesitations or doubts before joining the program?
I did. There was a time commitment
Yeah,
and money commitment. I happen to know that from my point of view, that without making those kind of commitments, you really get out of something what you put into it.
sure.
And so I wouldn't say it forced my hand, but I took this very serious from the start. And I tried to have some fun, by the way, when I was involved in this, and I felt like I really did have some fun.
We
But
all
I
did.
did, yeah, I took it real serious and
Yeah,
and did my readings and watched some video and things of that nature. And so I was a little hesitant that this was a commitment and would I really have time to follow through?
yeah,
That was that a little bit of a concern there. However, once I got into it, you make you just make it work,
mhm,
and I felt like I made it work. I've always had I've had some opportunities down through the years to do a little side gig for
yeah,
others. I've taught it at a local college
mhm,
and on a secular campus, and I did that for some time. And I made that work because of the potential. In
sure.
this, I made it work, and yet I wasn't doing something for others. I was as you reminded me from time to time, you're investing in yourself,
That's right.
and and so this I looked at this as an investment in myself and in my future, and it put another tool in my toolbox that I think the Lord will use in my life. And anybody that wants to get involved in this, I look at it from a ministry point of view, but
Mhm,
somebody doesn't have to be a minister. Of course, there's other people that are just been great in the business community, and
sure.
now they reach a certain point in their life where they might consider something like this.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point because obviously there's a financial investment, but many times people are more concerned about the time. Can I finish this program?
Yeah.
And because of that, we have a hybrid approach. We have the 2 day intensive, we have self-directed videos that you do on your own, we have peer coaching labs, and then we have the bi-monthly coaching live on Zoom. Which one of these, Tim, would you say you
Mm.
enjoyed the most if you could isolate just one?
Okay. Uh, I would say I enjoyed the peer coaching
Yeah,
the most for a couple of reasons. One is this was kind of like real life experience,
sure.
and we all, especially towards the end, we all kind of knew where we were supposed to go, and we're coaching each other, fellow students coaching each other,
Mhm.
and it was kind of interesting. I learned a lot from watching the style of
Absolutely.
others. And an ornery streak or two, I try to throw a curveball even to some of the others, and I came up with some outlandish scenarios, and then a couple of just to see how they could manipulate the conversation back where it needed to be, and so I had a little fun with that.
Yeah,
But that I think I really probably enjoyed that the most. That 2 day intensive was very because that kind of set the stage.
mhm.
And if someone was going to uh, um, take a shortcut, you certainly wouldn't want to take a shortcut there. That was
Yeah,
really important.
yeah.
And again, you get out of something what you put into it.
Mhm.
So shortcuts don't really you don't want to do that anyway. But that was I enjoyed the coaching labs, and then the follow up was the peer coaching.
That's good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Now, when you and one of the things as I put this program together that I really wanted to think of was guys like you. You're you're a professional, you're busy, you're in ministry, you have a family, and for that reason, I created the hybrid model where some of it was live, some of it was self-study. We had the 2 day intensive, like you mentioned. For you, what was the benefit for you in that hybrid learning model?
I don't know if I could have pulled it off if it wasn't the hybrid
Okay.
model, frankly.
Hmm.
It'd have been very difficult. And there were a couple of times that the bi-monthly meetings,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, come up and I just couldn't make it. But they were always recorded, so I could catch up later.
Yeah.
The watching the videos on my own, and I downloaded a lot of the PDF notes,
Hmm.
and that was very helpful. Um, and so yeah, it would have been hard with
Sure.
my schedule, and God bless the folks that work 9 to 5 every day, Monday through Friday, but that's not me. A lot of evenings and some weekends and that kind of thing, and
Sure.
so this was really a blessing to have that flexibility.
That's good. Yeah, and I know we had a couple of makeup sessions, and
Yep.
then obviously we had the videos, and life happens. I mean, you're a pastor, so
Mhm.
you're definitely going to get a call, and water's coming in the building, like what happened recently, and
Yeah.
you've got to
Yeah.
change your plans.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a building program at the church, and we had a flood, and it was just kind of crazy. But
Yeah,
you know what? I mean, those kind of things do happen.
yeah, they
And
do.
but from my point of view, the best coaches are people that can be flexible
Hmm.
and have to be flexible because they're going to be
Yeah,
coaching people
that's right.
that have to be that way.
Hmm.
And so this fits right in. This was the right wavelength
That's good.
for us, I think.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, we say you got to remain flexible, curious, client focused,
Yep.
and yeah, that applies to life as well.
Yeah.
So let me switch gears on a new set of questions here. How has becoming a certified coach empowered you with more confidence, clarity, or skill?
Mm. Well, first of all, the skills that I learned uh, really helpful, and the powerful questions
Mhm.
that we developed. And I know you kind of hand delivered us some questions, but then we customized
Yeah,
these things for ourselves and kind of chart out how we would handle a session, a conversation with someone. Um, and so that was, and so once the skills came, now there's a newfound confidence, and okay, I could handle this, and um, I've had opportunities to visit with some professionals and sometimes high-powered executives in our ministry. I mean, people that are responsible for a lot of others, people that have responsible jobs,
yeah,
um, and so to be able to have a confidence when you talk to someone like that is a big thing, and they can sense, a leader can
mhm,
sense
sure.
that you don't have self confidence, and they're not really going to buy in.
Hmm.
And so the skill came first, the confidence comes second. Now the opportunities come,
Yeah,
and so I really do appreciate the fact that I would not hesitate to go to a business owner, to someone who's has big responsibilities, and to someone who runs an educational institution, something of that nature, and visit with them and talk with them and let them know, you know, as a life coach, I think I could walk alongside you and
yeah,
impact your work,
yeah,
and so to have that certification, I think is um, you know, we need more than just titles.
yeah.
So I have more than just a title,
Mhm.
that I'm a certified life coach. But what's behind that title is the skill and then the confidence. and then you can take advantage of those opportunities.
That's a great point. And along that same line, what would you say the program has done to stimulate new growth in you? Because you are already ready to go even before the program. And how has the certification program really taken that to another level?
Yeah, I think professional development is important for everybody.
Yeah.
And okay, I've been at this church for 30 years, or almost 30 years, and
Mhm.
I've I've um, I've had baby dedications for young couples that I held I held the couple when they were babies,
Wow.
and so you kind of second
Full circle.
generation now. That's really pretty exciting,
Yeah.
and been involved in our church is a solid 4 generation church,
Mhm.
and so to kind of grow old with the church has been a real blessing in many ways. But there's a danger of just coasting, and
Yeah.
there's a danger of stagnation,
Mhm.
and so I this was a new challenge, and so that was really good. And it's I think everybody needs to constantly sharpen their tool and maybe even go into a new arena that they haven't been into before.
Yeah.
And that kind of personal development, professional development, uh, God can use that in wonderful ways.
Yeah.
And so that's how this impacted me.
That's great. Was there anything about the program that surprised you, but in a good way?
I I was a little surprised at the amount of time that was required,
Hmm.
and that might seem like a negative thing, but
Yeah.
I honestly that is a positive thing.
Okay.
This wasn't, we just didn't go through the motions,
Hmm.
and then you know get your little paper at the end. This wasn't that.
Yeah.
This is challenging. When you go through this program, I really do believe that if you gave it what you should, you will have a measure of confidence, and you will have the ability to visit with others and help them in their life.
Yeah.
And so it seriously a good thing. Maybe a little harder than I thought it might be,
Hmm.
a little more involved,
Yeah.
but that's a good thing, and that's a compliment to you, Marcel, for putting this together that way.
Thank you.
Um, we've all been involved probably in a correspondence course or something,
Hmm.
and at the end you sit there and go, I'm not sure I got my money's worth, but I'll tell you, I got my money's worth on this,
It's good.
and I thank you for it.
You're welcome. What would you say, Tim, is possible now as a result of becoming a certified coach?
Hmm. Uh, when the time comes, I will have a little side hustle. This may be when I uh, step aside for being a lead pastor,
Hmm.
but I'll have a business, a coaching business, and will visit with people and try to take them to the next level, help them discover what's been holding you back in your life and your professional life, and I've interacted enough with business people to know that when they're dealing with someone and that someone goes through the like a divorce,
Hmm.
then the business suffers. The store,
Sure.
talked to a regional manager and he said, "Yeah, I had this store in my area. It was going great guns. Then the manager went through a divorce and now it just fell flat."
Yeah.
And to be able to come alongside people that are trying to live out their life and help uh, proactively get in the way before personal things fall apart.
Yeah.
Boy, what a blessing to the business as well,
That's
and
right.
a blessing to the family. And a lot of people don't know who to turn to,
Yeah.
and they just think, well, I've got to go see a therapist, and there's a place for that.
Hmm.
I've got to go see, family counseling. There's a place for that. Sometimes I think if they had a life coach, they could proactively circumvent some of these disasters. And that's uh, if I could help some people in that way, I would, would just absolutely love uh, to do that. And then as a pastor, I feel like that's been part of my ministry all along. But to be able to be certified to be in the secular world and do that, that's a whole new arena
Sure.
and maybe some new opportunities.
And how would that make you feel? Because that's a totally different shift, but in one sense, it's not totally different because it aligns with your values and your beliefs and what you've been doing all these years.
Yeah. Well, it's the great joy of life for me.
Yeah,
And as I age a little bit more, I think of the Apostle John's words: "I have no greater joy than to see my kids, my children, walk in truth."
yeah,
And 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 I'm kind of, I feel like I'm already the church grandpa in some ways, um, but um, but to be able to Marcel, I'm not just called to my church; I'm also called to my community.
that's right.
And if I can do some things outside of my congregation for people in the community, and of
Mhm.
course, my heart would always be to bring people to Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Um, and if I can do that, that'd be great. But if I can also help them in their personal life,
Mhm.
then that's a powerful testimony.
Yeah.
It's a powerful witness to for the glory of the Lord, and that's really at the end of the day, that's the bottom line for me anyway.
Yeah, I agree. We have gifts that God gives us. We have skills that we learn, and we can leverage all of that for the kingdom.
Yeah.
And whether we're behind the pulpit or in front of an executive at his office, I mean, it doesn't matter. We can make an impact, and that's the exciting thing.
Mm-hmm.
In this last part, just a couple more questions. I want to focus more on the person who, right now, they're still on the fence, so to speak, about becoming a certified coach. What would you tell them?
Um, Sometimes we get hesitant in pulling the trigger for something new, and it's easy to get just complacent. It's easy to get comfortable, and if you're hesitant on this, um, I would encourage you, as someone who's gone through this program, pull the trigger on this. I think that would be you'll be blessed by it. I'd like to think that if somebody agreed to do this, they would then, if they listen to what I have to say, they would call me back in 9 months, 12 months, and thank me for my testimony and thank me for urging them forward on this. I think this is something that, especially um, if you're in a leadership position right now, if you're a pastor, if you're a business leader, you're educational leader, and you got some experience, it's I'd like to think there's more to life than just playing another round of golf or taking another walk through the woods.
Yeah,
And you can use your experience, you can use your knowledge, you can use your skills to help other people.
yeah,
And let me encourage you to do that. Take the time to equip yourself and take this step forward. I really do believe this. You'll be blessed doing this. At the very least, you will learn some skills, and maybe you never put it into practice for employment, but you'll learn some skills that could be a blessing for you.
and as you consider others in your same shoes, they're looking at, passing the mantle, in a few years, or they're looking at making a transition. Why do you believe now is the right time for them to consider becoming a certified coach?
When I taught college locally, I told my students, I said, education doesn't make you rich. Education just opens doors of opportunity,
Yeah,
and the more opportunities you have, probably the farther you will go in life. And so I have always wondered about. I'm in my 60s,
mhm.
and I hate to say it, but I'm now on the second half of the 60s. So um, I realize, I've watched pastors. I'm from a preaching family, pastors, and I've always kind of wondered about the guy who stayed just a bit too long in his church. and the church suffered, and he suffered, and his health went down, and there's a lot of stress, and I don't want to finish that way. I
Yeah.
want to finish kind of on top, if Lord willing, and so I want to be ready that when the time has come, I don't have to take a few more years to get ready.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pastor for the money. I don't want to sit there and say, well, I need the paycheck, so I'm not going to step aside.
Hmm.
I just, that always has kind of been something that has grieved my soul. I feel like I'm involved in the greatest work in all the world, and I would like to think that my motives are greater than just a paycheck.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the reality of life is, you know what? Maybe I'm going to need to have something to do after I leave being a lead pastor.
Yeah.
And there are other opportunities, I'm sure, and
Yeah.
people find those things. But coaching is something where I can kind of chart my own course,
Yeah.
and so to say, and pick and choose a little bit with my schedule,
Hmm.
and see and how the Lord might use this
Yeah.
to impact others, but also meet a real need that I may have as well.
Yeah. Tim, thank you. That's really helpful. And one of the things I love about coaching, particularly coaching pastors, and now with this program, is it's like you said earlier, you have so many new opportunities you can take advantage of. And with your experience, it's only going to help serve people better, love people better, reach people for Christ. And that's really exciting. But I just want to say thank you. I really enjoyed having you as part of the program, and I know everyone else did as well. And God bless you in your ministry, Tim.
Thank you, Marcel. God bless you. And for anybody that's watched this, you know what? This is where doers get more done. Home Depot isn't the only place. Get involved in this. You'll be glad you did.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you bet.